Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where today you once again join me on another morning commute out to Vintique Motors to do some bring a trailer photography. And well, today we have something very beige, or champagne silver, I suppose, to be specific. This is a 2025 Nissan Rogue Platinum all-wheel drive. Not too much has changed for 2025 because this got a facelift last year in 24. New bumpers, some slightly new technology inside and things. However, Nissan has added the Propilot Assist 2.1 as an option to the 2025 Nissan Rogue, which means I can eat my breakfast this morning while going down the highway. So quite looking forward to that, as I should be leaving this parking lot in about 4 minutes. So we're gonna make this walk around pretty quick. As I said, this is champagne silver. It's a platinum, it's all-wheel drive, it's a top trim, which to me is quite frustrating because I think if you're gonna buy a Nissan Rogue, you should probably be looking at a bit of a budget alternative. The Rogue in 2025 still starts under $30,000. You can have yourself an S Rogue for about $29,200, I suppose, with destination and things. You will still be just slightly over 30 grand. But this Platinum Rogue, as spec today, with destination, with everything, is $47,000. This is, I mean, after tax and title and stuff, this is a $50,000 Nissan Rogue. I never thought I would see the day, but well, here it is. Let's quickly walk you around this and then we'll jump in it, we'll commute it to Vintique Motors. My favorite thing about these new-ish Nissan Rogues is what's under the hood. So now every Rogue in 2025 has Nissan's 1.5 liter VC turbo inline 3-cylinder engine that makes 201 horsepower, 225 pound-feet of torque. Of course, it still has a CVT, and this one is all-wheel drive. Nissan will sell you front-wheel drive, though, in a Platinum Rogue if you want to save a couple of grand. But I think that a 3-cylinder kind of adds a little bit of pizzazz, and you kind of need that in this segment because, in my opinion, in the looks department, this is just a very beige SUV that blends in with the rest. So the powertrain does set it aside a bit, and I think it kind of sounds cool. So we'll explore that a bit more once we're on the road, but let's quickly poke around as we do. This Rogue has the optional premium pack, which gets you the power liftgate. I quite like the storage solutions back here as well. We do have a compact spare as well under the floor, even though this is all-wheel drive, so like to see that. Quite shallow surfaces under the initial floor, but you do actually get two different openings. You can just pull these out all together if you need some extra room, or if you want to stack some stuff. There we go, that's back in. The sun is making me want to sneeze. Ooh. All right, before we jump in the back, let's talk about our wheels and tires. These are a Dunlop on a 235/55 R19 squared setup, so 55 section sidewall, pretty good. Pretty just standard all-season tire. I don't mind the way these wheels look. This is kind of your choice on a Platinum model, or it is just your choice on a Platinum model. In the back seat, part of that premium pack, you also get rear sunshades. So I don't know, the $47,000 asking price starts to make a bit more sense. And jokes aside, I mean, the interior is fitted and trimmed quite nicely. We have this quilted leather and perforated. This one has the black interior, charcoal as Nissan calls it, but you can also go for kind of like a saddle colored interior, which I'm very disappointed this one doesn't have because it even extends to the dashboard. Just kind of a simple solid charcoal in this car. Some nice leather on the door panel. You can block out whoever you want to block out with that, I suppose. As far as room goes in the back seat, I'm 5'11", sat behind myself. In typical Nissan fashion, we have a bit of a stadium seating setup back here, so I do sit a little bit high, but I still have enough headroom. The tip of my camera just barely touches the headliner. We have a pano roof in this, of course. Fold down armrest with some cup holders, which just nailed my audio device, so we're going to make sure that's still recording. It is. That's good. Put that back up. We also get heated rear seats. We have our own climate panel back here as well. We don't have vent speed, but we can control the temperature, and then we have these vents as well on the back of the center console. 2 seat back pockets and some pretty nice all-weather floor liners back here. And honestly, I think I've got just about everything I need. I mean, I'm still shocked to see a sunshade in a Nissan Rogue. That is just really something. Well, let's pop the hood, and then we're going to jump in, and we're going to get this thing out on the road. Feels like somebody just waxed this. It's very nice and slippery. I actually haven't even popped this hood yet. Ah, no hood struts at nearly 50,000. Come on, Nissan. That's the wrong spot. That's the right spot. You can see there the 1.5 liter VC turbo, variable compression turbo. And in my opinion, this is the engine that needs to be in the Nissan Kicks, because I was just driving that last week and it felt like it had maybe 80 horsepower to the wheels. This one does feel a little bit quicker, but of course it is heavier. It is still all-wheel drive. So we'll show you performance once we are out on the road. But honestly, a decently attractive little engine bay. I think they try and make this engine look bigger than it actually is with this big plastic engine cover, but it's just a baby little 1.5 little 3-cylinder stuffed in there. It's probably smaller than this battery, to be honest. So, okay, let's shut the hood. At least that prop rod is easy to do. That hood actually shuts with some authority. This Rogue does honestly feel pretty well put together. Forgot to mention this has the optional black roof as well. That costs extra. Up front, door panels do actually match the back pretty well. We've got memory seats. We have a heated leather-wrapped steering wheel. We have these nice leather seats in the front with all sorts of adjustment, including lumbar. Let's fire it up. See, we have a digital gauge cluster. We can configure that a couple of different ways. And we have wireless CarPlay on this new screen, I believe 12.3 inches, as they all are. This was new for 2024, so we did get this Google-based infotainment system last year, which I do quite enjoy. I mean, any manufacturer that's implementing a Google-based infotainment system these days and still keeping Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, that's a good thing, and this does that. It works pretty well. I mean, I don't really have any complaints. Most Nissans are adopting this. We still have a physical volume knob there in the middle, unfortunately surrounded by a bit of offensive piano black. 360 camera, front camera, pretty nice quality here with this Nissan Rogue. Nissan has kind of famously had poor camera quality, but the last couple of cars I've driven have actually been pretty nice. The Armada, the Murano, even the Nissan Kicks had a pretty nice 360 camera. So it seems Nissan may be healing slightly. 2 USB-C ports. We've got a wireless charger for the phone, 2 cup holders, both of which I'm using today, one for the big dumb cup, and 2 for some homemade tapioca pudding that Emily made. Put some mango on top of that, so if we have an opportunity, might eat that on the road today. Split folding armrest, you can see pretty deep. I've got my hat in there right now. We have a drive mode selector that turns like a knob, like you'd see in an Armada. We've got sport, eco, auto, snow, and off-road. We're going to be doing 99% of today's driving in auto, since we're going to be mostly on the highway. We might try sport mode out just for a second. We've got this fake wood trim on the dash, which is nice, but I wish they'd extend it a bit more. It's only here, and then you have this little section right here, and that's it. So they could have put it in the middle maybe. They could have, I don't know, stuck a little bit on the door panels. But yeah, 2 pieces, that's all you get. You're limited. We have 1 color ambient lighting in here. We've got a Bose sound system. You guys know we'll test that out. But I mean, that's pretty much just about it. We've got really nice, big sliding visors. Always like to see that. These might come in handy this morning with the direct sunlight that we have. I've only put 45 miles on this Rogue this week. I've only had it for 2 days, so this will be somewhat of a first impressions as well. I usually spend a bit more time in these before I bring you guys a review, but duty calls, I don't know, that sounds weird, but I have to go somewhere this morning, and why not bring you guys with me? So let's go ahead and do that now. Into reverse. This shifter's been around for a while. Remember, we had an orange Rogue in 2022, kind of back when I was starting things with this 3-cylinder. I think that was the first year for it. It's the first one I ever drove was in 22 anyway. And I remember liking that car. I mean, I never really thought of the Nissan Rogue before that, but the 3-cylinder kind of brings that bit of uniqueness to this. Pretty light steering in this. It's just about the perfect weight for a CUV. Ride quality is pretty supple. I mean, this is, I know I've made many jokes about this costing $47,000, but Nissan is kind of aiming, I think, for some luxuriousness here with this Platinum model. Light steering, supple ride. I feel as though my impressions may be slightly skewed because I only had one car last week, and it was the Nissan Kicks. So this does feel a bit like a Rolls-Royce Ghost after the Nissan Kicks. So probably should have done some sort of a palate cleanser between. This has the stupid turn signal that bounces back to center after you touch it. Don't like that. And I don't know why this has it and other Nissans don't. But I've been annoyed by that for the last couple of days. Otherwise, though, I mean, this 3-cylinder is kind of a sweetheart. You guys heard when I pulled out there. It's pretty quiet. Like, it's not like a buzzy, drony engine. It kind of keeps to itself. Even when you add a bit more throttle input, it's not overly loud. Okay, let's throw this thing into sport for just a little section. Let you hear what it sounds like. This CVT does its best impression of an 8-speed automatic, which is still not a very good one. It's interesting the range of CVTs that Nissan makes, because some of them just behave like regular CVTs and they hold themselves at a certain RPM, and then sometimes they try to do this silly sport thing, and this is not unique to sport mode, it does this in every drive mode, where the CVT tries to simulate gear changes. I feel like if you have a CVT, just let it be a CVT. We all know it's one. Dodge Charger with nobody in it. I'll be driving by that in a second. Okay, we're in sport. We actually have a manual mode, which kind of just changes the pitch of your 1.5 liter. As you can see there. Doesn't make a bad noise. Oh yeah. Ooh, quite a bit of understeer. Kind of a bad line on my part as well. You don't feel this shifting. As I said, you just have the audible feedback. It kind of sounds like a baby GTR a little bit. Somebody's just left this here. What is that? It's a GT. Why would anyone have wanted to steal that? Kind of a bad place to leave a car, though. Tennessee plates. It's peculiar. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull out to the far lane today. It's okay, we can see how this Rogue gets off the line. We'll use this Charger as a starting point here. Nobody behind us. See how it does. And 60. Jokes aside, I mean, pretty dang smooth power delivery. Even the CVT, when you're just in regular drive, we're gonna go back into auto. It's a pretty nice setup. I mean, I being so for real, obviously I'd prefer like an 8-speed auto or a 9-speed auto, whatever Nissan is using these days. I think the Murano, yeah, the Murano's got a 9-speed auto. If they put that 9-speed auto here in this, with the 3-cylinder, that would be really nice. I do think Nissan is moving away from CVTs, at least in their SUVs, so hopefully the Rogue is next for that treatment. Really nice auto dimming screens there, as you can see. We are already up to speed today for our merge. Going in front of a fellow Nissan enjoyer there. I haven't driven an Altima in a while. That was another Altima. It's 2 Altimas in a row. Nissan gang this morning. Once you get this Rogue out on the highway, you've got a bit of road noise going on. Wind noise is to a minimum in this. Seems to be pretty well put together. All right, I've got to use this. Sorry, guys. There's only so much you can squint out, but this is really actually a really nice visor. So NVH aside, what's it like to sit in? Well, seat comfort, as I said in the walk around, you do have a decent amount of adjustment here. You obviously have good up and down movement to help with visibility. You've got good in and out for your lumbar support, and unfortunately that doesn't go up and down. Elbow comfiness is pretty decent as well. You have somewhat of a squish to the split folding armrest, and then you actually have a bit more squish here on your driver's door panel, so your left elbow is a bit more comfy, but spacing is nice. Your elbows are at an even level. You can kind of rest your hands here at the bottom of the steering wheel and be set up very nicely in this Nissan Rogue. Everything's within reach. Fully physical climate control panel down here. Love to see that that is still a thing in the year 2025. All right, we're gonna go back into sport. Set up for our favorite entrance ramp here. Let's see how fast we can catch this Ford Explorer. A lot of body roll and not a lot of feel from the steering. Playing Tetris here to merge. That's not what this SUV is for, obviously, but decently composed. A lot of tortured tire noises there, and it sounds like somebody left some change in the back somewhere. Whenever I've taken a quick corner this week, it sounded like quarters sloshing around, so we'll have to investigate that at some point. Maybe as we get into this traffic, it'll be a good time to test out our Bose sound system. Volume knob there, or we have these volume controls on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. A pretty good sound system. Nissan Boses have just been getting better and better. The one in the Nissan Kicks that I was driving last week, which has like the personal sound assistant or whatever they call it, kind of headrest speakers like you'd see in a Miata, that one sounded really good. And honestly, even the one in this Rogue is pretty powerful and even kind of silky. So impressive, and I mean, it sounds like a $47,000 sound system. So shout out to Nissan, and I suppose any lower trim Nissan Rogue that you get this Bose in is kind of just an added bonus. Nissan did add the Rock Creek trim for 2025, and I kind of suspected that the Nissan Rogue that I was getting this week would have been a Rock Creek, because all it said on the schedule was Nissan Rogue. So one day maybe we'll get to try that one out, but as for now, making do with the Platinum, and I wish they would put more base models in the fleet. So, okay, we skipped the last traffic, but it looks like this one up here is very real. What do we have pulled over? Oh, a stanced Mark IV, RIP. Hopefully he's doing okay. Part of the ritual for a morning commute, a little bit of traffic. It is kind of morning rush hour, kind of the tail end of morning rush hour here, 8:53. Pretty nice, clean GMT 400 there. Not a big fan of this brake pedal. It's kind of like 3 inches of nothing and then everything. It kind of reminds me of like the Nissan Leaf brakes, where it's kind of just very spongy and springy. And it's interesting because Nissan is so inconsistent. I mean, from model to model, there's really not a whole lot of things that they have in common, apart from quite nice Bose sound systems lately. But like, throttle input on this is decent. It's better than I've felt in the past. You actually have a good amount of throttle input, throttle feel in the first little bit of the pedal, but then the brake pedal is the complete opposite. I mean, you can be a couple inches into this pedal and nothing happens. So I don't know what that's about. It's a bit unsettling when you get into a situation like this and you think you have a bit more braking up top than you actually have. Pretty decent low down torque here at 225 pound-feet. I always like when we've got more torque than horsepower. I feel like torque is so much more usable on a day-to-day basis. What in the is happening right now? See, why are we doing this? Who's on their phone? This is why it's so important to be paying so much attention at all times, because one person not paying attention, they swerve at the last second, it sets up the person behind them to then crash into the car that they were going to crash into, and it's just a big domino effect. Leave plenty of following distance. Don't want to make more traffic within the traffic that you're already in. Is that it? Are we done? Back up to 50. Oh, I'm still in sport mode. Let's go back to auto. It's hard to tell what mode you're in when you're in a CVT because it doesn't really change all that much. This Nissan Rogue has a combined MPG rating of 31, which is a little bit optimistic. I've been reading other people that have tested this car have been seeing quite a bit below that. As far as myself, over the last 67 miles, with only just a couple of little spirited sections, I've only done 23.9. Quite a low average speed there, obviously, but with combined driving, obviously, highway and city. Not going to have the highest average speed. We're rated 34 on the highway, which is actually the exact same number as the Nissan Kicks. I'm pretty impressed with this ride quality, and like I said earlier, I like having a 55 section sidewall. Helps make things just that much more supple. Now this Rogue, it's not an engaging vehicle to drive as we saw on that entrance ramp getting onto 275, but you know, I don't think all these cars need to be. I think journalists complain too much about body roll. Personally, I'm a pretty big fan of body roll. I think for the right car, body roll is actually quite appropriate, and we should embrace it a bit more because I don't need my compact SUV to handle like it's on rails. I mean, unless it's something like a Kona N or like a BMW X3M competition or an Audi SQ5. Like, okay, those can have some handling characteristics, but I don't want to get into a Nissan Rogue and have it handle great. That's not what a Nissan Rogue should do. It should be kind of wallowy and floaty, and it should just be comfortable. It should assist you in your miserable morning commute, as today's has actually been quite miserable. Usually they're not this bad, but traffic, half the highway's torn up on this side. Getting home's gonna suck. Look at that side right there. We do at least have this quiet and buttery 1.5 3-cylinder to assist us, and that's kind of been the best part of the commute this morning. I am disappointed, though, that I haven't been able to show off the Propilot Assist 2.1. That's what I was the most excited for this morning. I haven't been able to eat my breakfast. It's probably quite confused by some of this construction as well right now. But it should automatically engage. There's nothing else that I have to do. Steering assist on, as it is. You can adjust your distance here on the steering wheel. Even the closest distance is still quite far. This is consistent across. Ah, there we go. It's blue. All right, so this will now do everything for me. So I can change lanes and things well, you have to have your hands on the wheel, but I can just touch the turn signal. Here, we'll go left. This will now execute a lane change by itself. Check traffic. Yep, there you go. You can see it's doing that. I'm not. Okay, it wanted to go 2 lanes for some reason. We don't want that. Okay. Not a huge fan of having to have my hands on the wheel for a lane change. I feel like that defeats the purpose. Otherwise, though, the biggest perk, I think it can't see that line is the problem. The biggest perk of this Propilot 2.1 is you don't get the constant reminder to keep your hands on the wheel. Ooh, I do not like how much it is wandering, though. Let's do one more lane change to the right. Hands on the wheel, check traffic, got it. There we go. That's how it's supposed to go. That was a very smooth input lane change there. Ooh, that was a panic noise. Yeah, it's having trouble seeing these lanes. That canceled my Propilot assist altogether. Completely ditched my steering assist. All right, let's just kill it. Do the rest of the highway ourselves. We've only got another 0.4 of a mile. Well, there you go. I mean, this has been working fine for me, actually, up until today. It decided to be a little bit temperamental, but whatever. You guys got to see how it works. Just in time for us to exit onto Merriman Road and do our last kind of little stretch here to Vintique Motors, and we'll wrap up what it's been like to commute this 2025 Nissan Rogue Platinum all-wheel drive. Nissan and other manufacturers, give us some base models in the press fleet. Give us the models that people are actually buying. Even a mid-grade trim level like an SV would be nice to see. But I mean, having now driven one of those, I can't really talk to like road noise and suspension. I imagine the suspension is probably the same. Sometimes upper trims get slight tweaks that are a little bit different. The biggest difference is usually though in NVH. Usually top trims have a little bit more sound deadening. We do have auto stop start in this car, easily defeatable. Physical button here by your left knee. So, I don't know. It's one of those kind of Nissan situations where some of it is very good, and then other parts are a little bit of a head scratcher. I do feel pretty confident shooting gaps with this car, which is nice. It's got enough power. It's quick enough. So, but otherwise, I mean, spacing in here, packaging overall is nice. Plenty of room in the back, plenty of room in the cargo area. You've got nice cargo solutions and things. Oh, might have some fun vehicles parked outside today. Ooh, a Safari Beetle. Haha. Saw some pictures of that. I'm excited to see that person. We might check that out together as a little treat at the end of the video. But first, let's park this Nissan Rogue. We'll give you one last look at it. Nissan is not the only thing that can't see the lines this morning. The problem is it puts these little tire marks here in it. I think that they're lines. Let's just try again. Let's just do that over. There we go. Now I can see a line. Okay, that's better. There's just huge parking spots, and no one else is coming, so it doesn't matter. Press P to go into park. We have this electronic parking brake, and I forgot to mention, huge area of storage here under this floating console. On today's trip, we did 25.8 mpg, which is about 5 mpg below the combined rating from the EPA of 31. Auto lock feature going there. But that'll be it for the 2025 Nissan Rogue Platinum. We'll have our spec down in the description. You can see what all went into this, all the packages that it has and things. But that will wrap it up for the Nissan Rogue. We will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care. And as a treat, I have to show my audience this Beetle. It's just too cool. Gotta check out this Safari Beetle. Pretty sweet. All right, cool guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.